Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, The Francie Moms. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Allie. So today we're going to talk about being the non-biological parent in a two-mom household and how we've overcome the struggles and hurdles with that. I can't speak English. So if you guys find this information helpful or relatable, let us know in the comments down below and hit that like button. Also, make sure that you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. We will do a shout out for a notification winner in our next video. So let's get into it.
God damn, I did the thumbs. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. It's all fine. You can't laugh when I'm talking about it. Stop laughing.
Okay.
So we just wanted to share our story. We're just going to kind of go into it from the beginning, starting with when Courtney got pregnant, because Courtney did carry our child. She is the genetic mother. We prefer to use terms like genetic versus non-bio, bio, and those kinds of things. I know that's kind of the standard in our community. Not saying that everybody does that, but that's just kind of what you see more out there. But for me, I prefer to use the term genetic, and then I'm just the mom, not the other mother or the non-biological, because I feel like those negative connotations kind of do exactly that. They're just negative, and we don't want to have any kind of negative relationship with the terms that we call each other.
Right, and these are all feelings, let me just say, before we really get into it, that these are all feelings that we did not think that we would ever feel or
we were
or
not
have
prepared
to deal with. Yeah. So we thought that this video would really help others who may be experiencing that now.
I did a lot of research when Courtney was pregnant with Grayson and after he was born. And I looked all over the internet for information about it, and there was only one book really that I came across that had anything to do with it, and it really wasn't the kind of perspective that I had, and I almost felt like it made me feel a little bit worse than what I was already feeling. I did go through postpartum depression as well after Grayson was born. I didn't even know that the non-carrier could have those kinds of feelings and go into that kind of a depression.
And this isn't just like with
this is for adopting parents as
non-genetic.
well.
Yeah, it's for adopting parents, for fathers and dads.
Mm-hmm.
They can also go through postpartum. So this is something that we've learned as well.
Mm-hmm. So just kind of from the get-go, when we were pregnant, we were both just over the moon. We could not wait. We were both just super excited. And it's funny because we always talked about Courtney staying home and doing the stay-at-home mom thing, and I would go to work. And after Grayson was born, it was like completely opposite. Like Courtney was like, I do not want to stay home, and I wanted to stay home.
But I will say that I think that I had a touch of postpartum depression as well. So the first few months home with Grayson was very, very tough, and I think it made it even more tough being in a lesbian relationship.
Yeah, because, we both had very strong feelings going into it, because we were both becoming moms, and we were, when I was looking into everything, I was kind of looking at it from a dad's perspective, and that's just not helpful at all, because those are not the way that I was feeling. There were some things that I could relate to, obviously, but for the most part, it was, about how the dad bonds or anything like that, and I had a really hard time finding anything that could just help me through that process. The main thing that I want to talk about is just what I felt after he was born. So, just kind of coming out of everything and coming home, I'm very fortunate with the job that I have. I was able to stay home for 4 months, which I know is crazy, but I did get to spend that time. And Courtney actually was fortunate in that too, because she had left a job as a director at a different center, and then my family had...
Not on purpose. I got put on leave. Bed rest, not leave.
Anyway, so Courtney was kind of in between jobs, but not really. Like, My family ended up opening another center, so she was going to be the director for that. So she did get a little bit of time off in between after Grayson was born while we were opening the center.
But I could not wait to get back to work, so I started right away getting everything ready to open the center.
I felt very disconnected. Like, I did not feel like, I don't want to say I didn't feel like he was mine, but I didn't feel like he was mine. Like, I didn't feel like he was bonding with me. And that sounds weird because, you know, he was a newborn, so.
And I remember I kept trying to tell her, like, he doesn't respond yet. Like, you have to wait until he can respond and he can show you. But right now, I mean, not right now, but then as a newborn, they don't prefer one person over another. So.
Yeah, and I think that was something that I was really struggling with internally, and not really that I didn't feel it. I don't think it was really like with him. I think it was just in society, really, and like even with like my family. I was afraid that people were gonna make me feel differently, and I did to an extent because people would say, "Oh, he looks just like Courtney," and so you like when they're newborns, the carrier gets to see and feel all of that, and then they already have this bond because they did carry, and you know, when a baby comes out looking nothing like you, and you can't see anything of yourself in them, and you don't get that return of affection, which I know, like I said, I know it sounds weird because I mean he was a newborn, but at the same time, it was just not something that I expected. I thought that it would just be, you know, automatic, and I did fall in love with him immediately, and I think that's what I struggled with the most, is that I was so in love with him, and I didn't know how to feel about it. I didn't know what my role would be, and I didn't know if I was supposed to take on like the male role as far as like kind of hands off when they're a newborn and just, you know, let everything go, and I was surprised that I wanted so much to do with everything that was happening. Like, I wanted to be a part of everything. I wanted to be there for every first. I wanted to be there for every single thing that was happening. And even though I wanted that, I felt like I wasn't a part of it, even though I was a part of it. It was very confusing for me, and the only time that I actually started to feel better about it was when I started to talk to a counselor. There was just no way around it. I had to see somebody to help me deal and cope with those feelings.
And I will say, you know, advice for the genetic parent. I had a hard time, because I had my own struggles going on with, and because I had postpartum depression as well. I had a hard time supporting her in this. So our communication was lacking, like, massively. And so the most important thing that you can do is communicate effectively. Listen to your partner. Because I feel like if I would have listened to you more, I feel like...
Well, I think that you did a really good job after we kind of hit the bottom. So... You know, it was
trial and error.
It was hard. We were both like, no, what about me? And I failed at that tremendously with her as well. Like, I was just like, I need help. I'm struggling, and I did go into a clinical depression, and I had to start taking medication that I got prescribed through my doctor, and I started seeing a counselor, and only then did I really start to come out of it. And when I started to open up to professionals about what I was feeling, that's when I was diagnosed with postpartum, and I was just like, you what? I had never even thought for a second that was happening to me. Like, it was like, a total sideswipe. Like, I was literally shocked that was a thing. And it made so much sense to me after I had gotten that help, and when I actually started to talk to Courtney, because at first I was too worried about saying something that would hurt her feelings, or saying something that was not right socially, or making her feel like I didn't love him as much, because that was something that she was struggling with too. Like, she was thinking, oh, well, he's genetically related to me, and you don't love him as much as you would if he was genetically related to you. And that was something that she was really scared of, and she was struggling with, and we were just not really communicating. And I won't lie, we had talked about divorce. We had talked about splitting up and what would happen and how we would deal with that, because we were just struggling so much. And I think that is something that happens whenever any baby is born. I mean, it completely changes your world, and you have no idea that is going to happen. And then you have all of these huge emotions coming into it, and you're trying to navigate how things are supposed to be. And for us, I think it was exponentially harder because we didn't have a pathway to go down that somebody else had gone down.
Mm-hmm.
There was just,
we don't have anybody,
we
in
don't have
our
any
circle
role models or anything.
Yeah, that could help us and teach us and show us. And that's why we think, talking to you guys is super important.
And I think, like I said before, the biggest thing that helped me was talking to somebody. So I'm a huge advocate for that. Is like, if you cannot work it out between yourselves, then the first place you should go is to get professional help, because there's
even if you're not dealing with a bunch of stuff, you should get professional help.
Yeah, we've been to counseling many times, and
I think
we're not
that
ashamed of that.
everybody can benefit from a life coach or from a therapist or counselor or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it will definitely enhance your life.
I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have a partner that was willing to do that for me. So,
this is basically what this whole video is on, is bonding.
Mm-hmm.
And she was having such a hard time in the beginning with the whole bonding thing, right?
And I got to do the skin on skin and everything with him, but I just felt like I needed more. Like, I needed to do more with him. I needed to, figure out a way that I could do something that was special between us. And I'm not saying that the skin on skin wasn't special, because that was probably some of my favorite times that I ever had with him as a newborn. But it just felt like I needed to be able to provide something to him, or give him something that he couldn't get anywhere else like she could. And then there was just not anything that I could do to kind of fill that hole. So I think that's really where that major thing as far as bonding went for me. But as he got older, things started to kind of shift.
Yeah, it did. It was at night, and Grayson was crying. He had his bath. He was ready for bed. And at this point, I was still breastfeeding. And I know Allie was in the kitchen or something, doing something. I don't know. But she wasn't in the room with us. It was just me and Grayson, right? And I'm trying to feed him. I'm trying to breastfeed him.
And then you called me in there.
Freaking out. Okay? No. Maybe I did. But anyways, he's freaking out. And I'm talking like 5 minutes. I cannot, completely inconsolable, right? And he's older at this point.
He's at least 6 months old now.
Yeah, and, well, no, it was before that. Maybe like 4 or 5 months.
No.
Yeah. So, completely inconsolable. I can't figure it out. He won't drink. He's losing his mind. I'm losing my mind. I'm getting frustrated. Like, I don't know what's wrong with him. Yeah, so I did. So, anyway, I called Allie and I was like, something is wrong. Like, he's not... As soon as Allie walked in, he saw her, stopped, and, like, kind of rolled out of my hands. And so she picked him up, and that's all he wanted. The very first time that he'd ever chosen one of us, he chose her. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried. But that's going to happen, and I think this is important for everybody that has kids. Not just a two-mom family or a two-dad family or whatever the case may be.
Or a mom and a dad.
Exactly. It does not matter. There's going to be moments
That
in your child's life, where your child is going to prefer one parent over the other. And this was something that like we knew was going to happen. It was something that
we had talked about
it. But I'm
it.
going to be completely honest. I was completely ignorant and thinking that it wasn't going to happen to me. But it did. And I'm going to tell you right now, the reason that I'm not wearing makeup and that I look like a hot mess is because
he did it again.
He did it tonight. Okay, so Grayson is normally super, super cuddly. And tonight he wanted basically nothing to do with me. So I kind of gave him his own space and kind of let him do his thing. He got comfortable with his stuffed animal, which is weird because he usually doesn't cuddle a stuffed animal. But in this instance, he decided that was more important than me. And, I kind of grossed his face, while I was laying there. And I was like, I love you, baby, like I always do. And I was next to him, and he took my hand, right? And he, like, shoved a finger, like, through my other fingers, and then went like this.
Sweet.
And then turned over, like, to go to sleep. And so immediately I was like, he doesn't love me. It's not funny. Like, these were genuine, like, I was a mess, a sobbing, ridiculous mess. And he was just laying there. And so I texted Allie from the bed, and I was like, you have to come in here. She came in, and she's like, what's wrong? And of course, as soon as she walked in, he started crying because he wanted her from the get-go. And so that made me more upset because I was like, why am I not good enough? And so, of course, me being me, I came out, did my thing, and I was just crying and crying and crying to where, like, my eyelids were swollen. And I looked like a disaster. Or like I just lost my dog or something. So, of course, the first thing I do is hop on Google, and I'm like, children favoring parents. And so, going along with what I already know, and kind of what we're talking about here is that it does not matter. When you have a baby, right, there will be times, no matter if it's a step parent, a non-genetic parent, whatever the case may be, there will be times that your child is closer or will prefer other people over another, and that is okay. It is healthy. It is normal.
Yeah, he even does that with my mom sometimes, where he won't want us and he only wants her.
Yes, or vice versa, and it completely breaks her heart. So, I will say that, yes, be prepared to get your heart broken a million times, but I will say that it's completely worth it. He is the love of our life, no matter what. I know that he loves me. She knows that he loves her. It's equal. It's just...
It's different.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah, like lately he seems like if he gets hurt or something, he always thinks it's her fault. So he wants me, and that hurts
Maybe
her
that's
feelings.
where it started today.
Yeah.
I was so upset earlier. So, like, this has been like an all-day thing. We have a baby gate, and I was doing laundry. Stephanie had left, so he was upset. So
Stephanie is my mom.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. His nana had just left, who he's super close to. He was upset, so I was like, why don't you help me do laundry? And, of course, there's a baby gate there to keep him from going back there. And we were coming back into the living room from the laundry room. And when I opened the gate, he was walking through it and, like, kind of wobbled and hit his ear on the side. Looked at me like I was the worst human being on the planet, right? He hurt himself, like he hit his ear. So, of course, mom instinct, I grabbed him and I'm, like, trying to love on him. He smacked me. And so I was like, I'm trying to do my mom instinct thing. And he wasn't having it. So, of course, I finally just put him down because he was being mean to me and not wanting me. And he went straight to her. And I was like... So then he was mad at me for, like, a whole 30 minutes. As if
he thought that she did it.
It was me that whacked him in the head when in reality it was him. He did it to himself.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the kind of the moral of this whole video is to ensure you guys that you're not alone.
It gets better.
It does get better.
Everything changes as they get older. There's when they can express their feelings to you, and I don't mean like telling you all kinds of stuff or anything like that, but I mean like
just the way that they look at you,
yeah.
and they'll prefer you over someone else, and
Or like today, I was playing with Grayson, and I was acting like I fell over on the couch, and he would come over and just kiss me. And
we'll include that video.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. When I think back to when he was a couple weeks old, or even just a few days old, or even a few months old, I never, like, the darkness that I was in, I would never have imagined that that's where I would be today. Mm-hmm. So everything just changes.
And I will say, too, I think this is also important. He does different things with her that he won't do with me. And sometimes I let that get to me. But like with that, for instance, she was like, why don't you lay on the bed, see if he does it to you? And I was like, no, because I was afraid that he wouldn't. Like, to be quite honest. And he was already hating me today, so. But he'll do stuff with her, like he'll grab her face and just like kiss her, and he'll like play with her ear, and just different things. And I watch them together, and it completely completes my heart, it's one of my favorite things in the world to see them together, to see them interact, and to see how much he loves her and that they love each other. And I'm so thankful and so blessed. But there are times where I get down in the dumps and it hurts my feelings. But then there are other times where me and Grayson are rolling around on the floor being goofy, and she's kind of just watching and stuff. But I don't know how you feel like when you see stuff like that. But he doesn't ever get mad at you as much as he gets mad at me.
You just always happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Bad luck.
She's always like standing right next to him when he gets hurt. And then, I mean, every single time. It seems like, I think that he leans towards me a little bit more when he does get hurt. And I think that that's something that she originally thought that he would go to her for. And I think that's why it's kind of like a sore spot. And
it's your
it's your instinct as a parent.
Yeah, as a parent to comfort them, and he just does not want to be comforted by me.
He does. It just seems
when
like
you're not around.
Okay. Well. So I mean, either way, it's just there's different things that he wants from us too. Like sometimes when he wants to go outside, he wants to go with Courtney. I mean, he wants to go outside all the time, but that's not really something that I do much because I have the worst allergies, and I don't like to go outside because it's just a mess. But that's something that they get to do together more often than I get to do with him. And they have the mornings together where they get to get ready together, and that's kind of their thing. And it's just different. There's different things that we each do with him that's special to us.
He gets better. It is completely normal to have these feelings.
It's parent jealousy.
You
see it all the time. Oh, you want, put the kid in the middle and then say, come over here to me. It's just, I think it's very normal, and it's very normal for one parent to be jealous of the other. And the thing is that you just need to make sure that you just can't let it make a conflict in your relationship. So, I don't know. I think that we do pretty well as far as that goes, but I think a lot of that is attributed to our communication with one another. It might not be spot on right away, but we do talk about it, and we discuss it, and try to make sure that, hey, if this situation comes up next time, let's see how we can deal with it differently so we can be more aware of each other's feelings.
I have been noticing that Grayson always, every time I say, where's mama or where's mommy, he goes to her, or he points at her. And so anyway, I sat down and I was like, babe, we really gotta talk. This is really hurting my feelings. And she was like, what is going on? you know, I'd been upset or, you know, been thinking about this for about a week or two, and it's been eating me up. So, and I told her, I said, look, like, he doesn't even know who I am. Like, he refers to you as mom and mommy, or mama and mommy, and, or whatever, and he refers to me as nothing. He calls me nothing.
Beep.
He calls me Beeb.
Hey, babe.
Beep.
Hey, babe.
Go to bed.
Beep.
What?
Beep.
So, anyways, she kind of just laughed, and I was like, "This isn't funny, you rude." And she goes, "Courtney, watch this." And she looked at Grayson.
No, I said, babe, that's because you are always the one that asks him that. And she was like, no, it's not. I said, watch this. Grayson, where's Mama? Mama.
He pointed to me, and I was like, "What an idiot!" Like, I let this eat me up for no reason. So anyway, that just brings us to our point. Just make sure that you're communicating, and
That was hilarious. It looks right at you. Mama.
your child loves you both the same. I'm 99.9% sure of it.
Yeah, if you make the effort to spend time with them and build a relationship,
And you play with them and make them laugh, and then you are in the good.
do all the things.
Do all the things, you know. Do all the things.
Everybody should bathe their kid, put them to bed, all of that stuff.
Yes. So, if you have any other questions for us, feel free to comment below. We will definitely answer your questions.
If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And make sure that you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future.
And we shall see you soon. Bye.
Bye!